Valley Ho, friends. Welcome back to Kupo Quest. We're coming off of not one, two, but 3-session Lich fight. Big, huge capstone fight with the father of Izzy, one Arch Lich Odonis of Mysidia. We had it was a roller coaster ride. If you want to check that out, it could be its own little mini arc. Towards the end, though, we had an unexpected visitor as Enora showed up. This would be the apprentice of Odonis and longtime frenemy of Izzy. She showed up and at the last minute seemed to side with you all, helping you take down the Archlich right at the very end. After that, Bazcat took his staff and burst it over the top of his it was pretty cool. Burst it over the top of Odonis's phylactery or spirit jar or jam jar or whatever we're calling it now.
It's a phylactery. Any other term for it is illegal and we do not acknowledge it.
Look, we need to acknowledge it's Tupperware.
Odonis would fall for an MLM.
What the players collectively failed to read in the description that I gave them of the magic item was that it would explode.
Okay. I got there at the last second, thank you.
You got
fair. Bazcat can't read.
Fair.
You never gave me a chance.
That's fair. Well, you hadn't identified it. Anyway, it worked out though because they needed to deal at least 100 points of damage, and it dealt 150 room wide. So they all somehow managed to survive that blast, though. So with that, Izzy reached out to his mother. She said to meet her in essentially the chambers where they'd met before in about 3 hours after they got some breakfast. Also, Lauren made an open-ended contract with his patron. So whatever that means, he basically asked for power to rival that of Izzy, which will give him access to his ultimate weapon once that gets granted, but it will come at some currently undisclosed cost. And that's where we left off and where we're picking up, basically. So what does everybody want to do? Oh, I'll also say you went ahead and parked the airship because there was some confusion about what you were going to do with it. Let's just say that's fine, or we'll waste another 30 minutes.
Ava and I'm mid-chat when someone's like, "Hey, have you heard of Hey, are you alone?" And he's like, "No, it's your company, cool, Omega? I guess." All right, what's Project Omega?
I should probably mention the actual cliffhanger of the episode. Thank you for that. You're right. So Squall and Sephiroth have made their way into Lindblom, the capital of the Empire, and they've reported that basically only like a skeleton force has been left behind. The king or the emperor, everyone else, they're somewhere else. They're gone. And they found some documentation on a Project Omega. And he asked you if you've heard of it. He currently doesn't really have anything except for strongly redacted files. So he's not going to be able to tell you too much about it. Anyway, that's where we actually left off. So what do y'all want to do now? The conversation with Squall would have he would have told you that and then told you he found some redacted files. We don't have to RP it because he doesn't have information to give you. That was just a tease of what he found.
Did he say like all the citizens are gone or just the important people in his army?
The citizens are there. Okay. And the Imperial Palace has like a very light guard to keep up appearances, but like the royal family, they're gone. All of the major military force is gone, and their the workshops where they were building something is completely cleaned out.
Just like those ruling classes, they never actually care about the people.
Does anyone here think Noctis cared about people? Anybody? Anybody?
I mean, I'm not gagging, so
I don't know anything about this guy, so maybe for like 0.5 seconds at some point in my life.
Yeah, scary here.
As they're walking from the airship, when Izzy enters, Izzy lives in the castle, right? Or the home of his family, right? That also
Yes.
kind of doubles as a lab in research. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the servants and maids, butlers, etc. are still there, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's still there for
Cool.
them. They don't really even know what's happened yet, right? So you all
Yeah,
did this in the dead of night. Your mom staged her
correct.
little coup. So it's business as usual for most people in the castle.
Honestly, that is so cunty. I kind of live for that. Yeah, but you see he goes to them and he says, if you don't mind, could you please make breakfast and bring it to the room for me and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. He looks at Bazcat, he's like 8 or 9 people.
Of course, sir. Is there anything else I could get you? Would you like some coffee, some juice?
Beer.
Tea and coffee would be perfect. And if you don't mind, if it could be as quick as possible, we're trying to eat and then we're going to move on to a few other things for the day.
Of course. It'll be here as soon as we can. And then
Thank you
he
so
like
much.
turns around and snaps at 2 other people who like were like waiting as you were like walking down towards your room, and they kind of jump into it and just they all 3 disappear.
Oh yeah, I also forgot. People also don't know Izzy's entire deal yet.
No,
Here.
not really. No.
Well, anyways,
Might as well take
all right.
advantage.
Yeah, you see this. We need to check on Taurus. Then after that, Ava, if you don't mind, we need to take a minute together.
Okay. Okay.
Yep,
When you
and
go back
Izzy
into your
will.
room, Taurus
Mhm.
is still he's sound asleep still. Like
Okay.
he's gone back to bed after you can tell that he was pacing back and forth and he sat down in a chair and just passed out. Like he just couldn't stay up any later. But
God, he's me.
you can tell looking around like he was trying to busy himself. You can see that he's been pacing, he's disheveled, but he's just kind of slumped in a chair, just snoring just a little bit.
Yeah. He goes in. He tenderly gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then he says, "We need to speak in my library for a second, Ava. The rest of you, make yourself at home, and when breakfast, or if breakfast arrives before the two of us come up, if someone could politely wake up Taurus, that would be nice." And he's going to begin walking down to his library.
I could make that happen.
Don't have to
Thank
tell
you.
me twice. And then like Bazcat like flops onto a chair.
No, then he
Starts, like,
immediately goes.
whittling.
Then he goes up. How many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he points at Basket. He's like, "Bascat, only 4 of the portions are for you."
Right, I understand.
I imagine she goes or he goes 4. Got it.
Yeah.
And Euphrasia like puts down one of his thumbs. No, full.
Yeah.
And then she's like, ah.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to go down to his private library with Ava.
Yeah, I assume Ava, I assume you would go, but
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as they get down, I think it mirrors the scene from the Chocobo Forest where he hugged you after hold on, I do remember his name. Nozak. After Nozak passed. Except you see
good
he's
God
not
knows.
like yeah. You see he's not like crying or anything, which I think you would expect because of how he's been in the past. But you see he's hugging you very joyously and he pulls back. He's like he's like, "I can't believe you came back. I thought I wasn't going to see you for a while now."
Well, I did promise you I was going to help you deal with Mysidia and take your home back.
Well, I'm happy to have you back. I was worried that something might have happened to you dealing with Conrad.
Oh no, on the contrary, I could have made him disappear pretty easily, but we need him.
We is a very strong
Okay, Cornelia
term.
needs him.
You see, he says, but I shouldn't. My opinion shouldn't influence the decisions you make. This isn't about me. Regardless, I need your help. We're going into a situation, and I do agree that I need to work on my delivery when it comes to these diplomat types. And I want you to help me. What tips can you give me? Because
Jesus.
if this is something I'm going to do for the betterment of my people, I should play the game, as they say, properly.
Well, the biggest thing is to. This is gonna sound like I'm teaching a toddler, so don't take it personal, but don't be the first one to raise your voice. It makes you look weak and powerless.
You see, he's waiting for more. He's like, "Oh, that was it."
Oh yeah, no. Oh well, I mean, this is kind of, I've been around it for a few years and have been in my time with the Grin. Fuck. You just have to don't. Yeah, you should listen to what they're saying, but you should also listen to what their motives are, not just what they're saying. It's also another big thing.
I want to change how I do things a bit because Lauren made a very excellent point. None of us, me, Euphrasie, or my mother, actually know what it's like to be a regular citizen here, especially one that has to work day to day to really make their lives better for themselves. And I realize actual inextricable change would be better than just a bunch of speeches or bureaucracy. Um, and I think that that's more palpable to me than trying to start a revolution with no knowledge on what the average person goes through. Regardless, after all this is over, I would like to extend my hand to you, but more importantly, you and Cornelia as an ally. Not an ally from Mysidia, an ally as myself, because I think in this journey, I forgot my greatest gift is my tenacity with magic. And I realized that magic can help in more ways than just war. It can change people's lives, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put change in action rather than just words.
Izzy, you've been my ally since I brought you back from the dead at the Wind Temple. Cornelia and I welcome you with
brought
open.
him back from the dead.
Don't ruin this moment, Garuda.
Fine.
Still pissy about Titan.
I know, but I mean an ally in more of the. I was gonna say Christian, but God is the Christian God isn't a thing in this. I meant ally more in a diplomacy sense.
Plane
I
shift
know you're
portal
my
opens.
friend.
Garth steps through. I knew I'd get you eventually.
No.
Yeah.
Intruder!
Eldritch blast him back through the portal with repelling blast.
All right,
Yeah, you
continue.
see, he
Sorry.
says, also, you're more than an ally. You're one of my closest friends, and I trust your judgment. Do you think that that would be the right way to go about things in a way that still feels honest to myself?
Does it feel right? Or do you feel like you're making compromises and risking your integrity doing this?
I think for the first time in my life, I think I'm thinking of what would be best for people in a non-selfish way. For the longest time, I thought doing good meant doing what was right just by myself. But the problem was I was always holding myself to a standard I could never achieve. So it was almost as if what was the point? But I think that this way is a way that's more honest and won't actually help people in a way that I can understand. It'll also help me learn about their struggles a lot more so I can be someone not to lead them, but someone who can at least help them in a meaningful way.
If you think this is a good idea for you, then I fully support you, and whatever I can do to help you with this endeavor.
But first, I'm gonna need help from my mother. I would like to say unfortunately, but I don't think that would be fair. Um, I'm going to need her help to gain some more insight on a couple of spells that I need. I know where to find half of the material I need, and I would actually like to bring you and Taurus with me. to do that, but I also need some financial help from her. But you see, he raises his hand. I don't want you to ask for me. I want to ask her privately and give her the chance to say yes and no without yes or no without any pressure. It wouldn't be fair to bombard her.
I would like to make it abundantly obvious that I'm going to ask her to pay us for helping free Mysidia of a tyrant and going into a spiral of slow decimation.
Well, that goes without saying.
Okay, good.
Just don't ask anything on my behalf, please.
Oh, all right. I can do that.
Right now, our main goals are to get the Mysidia's help with this upcoming fight against Noctis, and to have them gain potential allies in Cornelia and Balam. That's all I personally want from this meeting specifically. And
Izzy,
also,
are you a gambling man?
There's a bit too much chance in gambling for me. But I'm assuming that's kind of what comes in the territory of war.
Oh, yes, that's true. I was kind of getting sidetracked. I was going to bet you 5 gil that Anora's going to be in that conference room with us.
I mean, if I'm to be frank, I don't particularly care who she gets her next power fix from. I just didn't want it to be us, because it would be more inconvenient if she was on our side specifically in a more direct way than just an ally. I think what she forgets, or at least assumes, is that I care about her more than I do just because I'm willing to engage her. And I think that may be a help for breaking her down and taking the mask off. But I'm going to be honest, that's all it's really good for. So I try not to give too much thought to her otherwise. I'm not sure. Does that make me a bad person?
Yes.
Well,
I mean, I feel bad.
Man.
If I'm to be honest, I actually feel quite bad for her, because someone that desperate to claw through power clearly has nothing more to live for than just power. That seems like incredibly sad and lonely existence that was probably forced onto her.
It's hard to say, because even though you were born without magic, you studied and learned it, so you might have this perspective, but, well, I guess she was a Mysidian here, too. Yeah, never mind. I was about to say something fucking stupid.
Regardless, whether she's in there or not, that matters not to me. What matters is getting allies so that we can finally end all of this. The quicker we save the world, the better. And I can't, in good conscience, allow myself to get distracted by her when I know Noctis is more of a threat.
Yeah, it's true.
Regardless, all I ask is that you speak honestly and speak for what you think is Cornelia's best interests.
Shit, all right, I can do that.
We also, we're also going to need the wizards to figure out where all of the people from Balm who were kidnapped are.
Weren't they just slaughtered?
No, they were all kidnapped.
Are you talking about Renoa?
No, above board, they were all kidnapped, remember? A large majority of them?
Balam, yes. Renoa was taken in Cornelia back then.
Right.
He's talking about this most recent attack on Balam. They did take some prisoners, yes. It wasn't they did take some prisoners. And actually I don't know if you'd know that. Never mind.
We also
they did take
potentially need to find out where Renoa is, and afterwards, we need to talk about what happens if we come face to face with the Dark Knight. I know Sarah says she's fine doing what needs to be done, but I don't feel good about going through with that unless I know she really means it, and I don't.
Just for those of you newer to the campaign, the Dark Knight is the corrupted body of Sarah's husband.
Also, did I say Renoa? I meant Sarah.
We've talked about both. I can't remember what you just said, but yes.
Yeah.
So Sarah's husband.
Also, really
is
quick,
now the
what's
Dark Knight.
what's Renault's dog's name again?
Angelo.
Perfect.
Angelo, yeah.
And he says, and
dog.
you see, he says, and most importantly, we need to find Angelo, of course.
No, Angelo. Angelo's back.
Angelo's the Squall.
That's how Squall found out.
Yeah, that's how Squall found out. Yep. That was a bad
thank
time.
God.
Yeah.
Angelo
That's Yeah.
My mind above board. My mind.
Don't give Izzy another heart attack.
Look, I learned my lesson.
Had like 5.
I attacked Duchess one time and never heard the end of it.
Yeah, and
I swear to God.
It's still reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he sees
With an AC of like 1 million.
I think that's about it. If you have any points you would like me to bring up, I'm always open to listening.
No, that's all I got. I kind of think of everything on the fly, which is why the shit I say sounds good at the time, but later on it could be like, oh well, maybe if I thought about that yesterday, it would be better. But
some things we can't change, and that's okay.
True.
It's not up to me to control every situation.
But until I try, I'll never know.
Regardless, it really is good to see you again.
It's good to be back.
And he's going to head up, and hopefully the food is there because Izzy is actually super hungry.
Okay, Fazcat, give me a perception check.
Hell.
Oh fuck!
If the food is there and they've been gone for any significant length of time,
almost an 18, and then it flipped to a 5, so 11.
Yikes!
As you're trying to relax in your chair, you feel slightly uncomfortable. You got this feeling like someone's staring at you, watching you.
Oh.
You kind of look around a little bit, but you don't see anything.
I'm in the same room. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 of us are.
Quick question. Quick question for the room. Anybody ever feel like somebody's watching you? Just
like
out
in
of nowhere?
general, or
I mean, I can kind of. Well, actually, no, I don't think I can make a comment on that. I'd have a patron.
I was going to say your entire job is being watched by something outside of yourself that you can't entirely truly hope to understand.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe they're watching me right now? I don't know. Something feels weird all of a sudden.
Can I vibe check the room? I have a passive of like 21.
Yeah, 21 is high enough for this. You kind of look around the room, and you do see over in one of the corners, there's like a little bookshelf with like a little potted plant. And
you've met scrying eye? No,
but Oki's behind there. And she is kind of crouched down behind the plant, and she's staring out at Bazcat.
When I see her, before she sees me, I'm gonna get up, kind of walk over in that direction, acting very casual. Then I'm gonna stand up on my tippy toes so I can see her and be like, "What are you doing in here?"
Oh, nothing. Just waiting. She keeps trying to look around you.
God?
That's my girl.
What are you looking at all for? Is there something on my back?
No, not you, silly. I put my Chocobo on whatever their name is head 10 minutes ago, and I'm just waiting to see how long it takes them to notice.
Which one again? Which one again?
The gal guy, I don't remember his name. Grunthor, maybe?
The big one? The big one?
Yeah, the big one.
That's Bazcat.
Oh, Bazcat. Yeah, they haven't noticed. It's pretty funny.
I love that.
You're right. That's so funny. I think you're right.
I imagine it's made a nice little nest in his hair.
Euphrasia, when you look over, you can see it now. But the way that Bascat was sitting, you couldn't see it before. But with the passive, with the perception check, she was able to get over there, and she's basically just been watching you to see how long it'd take you to notice. But you didn't notice, Bascat.
Yes, excellent.
I don't think I've seen you yet.
Oh, I'm Oki, but my code name is
Oh fuck.
Leonhardt. That's what I go by. That's when I'm doing official business for Dad.
Official business, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's Dad?
Ava.
Oh.
Euphrasia really said, "Hey, Diva, not really feeling this one."
She's like, wait, shit. Did I just hit on someone? Who's got like
Kids.
who's like married? Oh shit.
Well, they are definitely an adopted relationship because she's Mithra,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
Yeah, Mithra, yeah.
yeah, so she's kind of like a little cat girl, and he's like half
Okay.
elf, so they're obviously not biologically related.
Cool. That's useful information. She's like, oh shit. Wait.
Oh, she's
He's
a
got
little
a
cat
kid,
girl,
though.
cute.
Don't say that word. You only say that word when I'm in the room. With it's just me. Got it?
Me? What? I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I thought that Bascat finally found it. What were you saying?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm Euphrasia.
Sorry. Oh, hi.
I
That's
just-
a pretty name.
Thank you. It's Elazen. I'm from up north. They like to name us rather fancy up there.
That is a fancy name.
You should hear my mum's.
That's probably why you wear this fancy
Cordelia.
jewelry. And she like holds up this little bracelet that you had on like 5 seconds ago. She goes,
You're good.
little trick I like to do. I've been practicing.
Euphrasia puts it back on. You're good.
I know.
I know. Just like her daddy.
I just made
It's-
friends with your dad, so he's pretty cool.
14.
No.
You feel a little tiny little like not a scratch, like an itch on the top of your head. Hold on,
Yeah,
I think he's
just
got
gonna be
it.
like, oh, do I still have? Oh, what is this? Like, pulls it out. Like,
Careful!
He found
What?
it. Oh, that was fun.
well, ain't you cute? Is this your friend?
Yeah, that's
How big
mine.
are baby chocobos?
Oh, they're little chickens. They're basically like
Tiny.
yeah, they're tiny. They fit in your
Oh,
hand.
they're like
They go
chick.
peep,
They're like
peep.
chick size.
Yeah,
Do they like peep and make cute little peep noises?
they do. They do.
That's amazing.
It's
Hang on,
again.
I got you.
I don't hate Final Fantasy 13, but that is the best part of that game is the little chickabo that
Literally.
lives in the dude's hair.
Important question.
I
Has
got-
Euphrasia ever seen one of these things up close?
Let's see. Probably not. Probably not. Because usually by the time the chocobos make it into the mainstream, they're grown. Usually the chickens, the chickabos are kept on like the farm before they actually make it out into the mainstream. So
I
probably
don't think
not.
there are a lot of farms in the frigid north.
Yeah, no. Most of your chocobos get shipped up from
Yeah.
trading partners in the south.
She's like, oh, that's so cute.
I will say though
Oh.
that, and this is just completely non-essential lore stuff, but Ishgard does breed a very specific type of mountain chocobo that has like
That's
a
dope
light
as
We're just
blue
going
kind of
shit.
to
feather.
Okay.
look up
Okay.
a picture.
So
Throw that in the
Just-
chat if you find it.
lore for lore's sake, but you would know that. But you've never seen a baby.
Cool.
Well, I think I'm gonna be friends with your dad and your dad's friends, so I guess we ought to be friends too.
She kind of looks you up and down really quick. Okay. You seem cool.
I try to be.
I'm a pretty good judge of character, so yeah, I think you're okay. Plus, my dad's an okay judge of character too, and if he thinks you're cool, then you're probably cool. He's
Does-
only made like 1 or 2 mistakes, but
At least he's honest.
Euphrasia will actually just burst out laughing at that.
it's around this time the
That's
food
what-
does show up at the door. As they
I'm
start,
gonna
go ahead.
lightly wake up Taurus.
Yeah.
Bazcat's just gonna look at the Chickabo and go, "Lucky the breakfast came. I was about to eat you, little nugget." And then like, "It's a joke. He's joking. It was a joke.
Bazcat,
Not much-
no!
Not much meat anyway." And
The
then
color
he's gonna like
drains
gently.
from Oki's face. I don't want to play this game anymore. And she rushes over and takes.
Frazie's like scolding him like he's like he's a child. Like Bazcat, no!
Was a joke. It's just like
You can't scare people like that. Fucking hey.
Bazcat, you need to remember most of these guys come from royalty. I got the joke. It's fine.
thanks, friend.
I grew up in a temple. I'm not royalty. I just sound fancy.
Oh,
we
she has a
we
she
love
has-
an
fancy
aware
name.
diva.
does have a fancy name though, so it kind of sounds like a princess name.
Right?
Princess
Oh,
Euphrasia.
she
See, I
was?
can see it.
I thought she
Ooh.
was. I was like, sure, why not?
Princess Euphrasia of the Ice Storm.
Ooh. That's
Oh.
I
Wait,
imagine
why
that's
did
like
it go so hard.
the first thing Izzy says when he comes back up the stairs. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, I'm gonna go draw some pictures.
Yeah.
Then she just like runs
That's right.
off and starts.
That's right,
Should I-
everyone. Izzy tells jokes now and shit.
Yeah.
Princess Euphrasia of
Character
the Ice
development.
Storm.
She says she's
True
gonna draw some
character.
pictures, and as she's running out of the room, Izzy, she runs over to one of your bookshelf and just grabs 3 random books, and then just like bolts to a different room.
Oh, okay. We love
were those
youth learning
important?
to read.
Well, were those
all
important
my-
books?
All my books are important to me. I've collected them
Mhm.
each for very specific reasons.
Mm.
You see, he does not address that whatsoever, and he goes to Taurus, who is awake.
Character growth.
You're back. What happened? You okay? Everyone's okay. Was there a
Quite
little girl
bit.
here?
Yes,
Don't worry
she's
about
current-
it. Sorry.
She's currently doing something. I'm assuming reading. But you need to eat breakfast.
What happened? You okay?
Oh,
You're fine. He
Yeah, I'm
stands up. He
fine.
starts just like he goes to like touch you and then kind of like stops for a second. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. You see, he grabs his hand. He says, "I am okay. You need to eat because we may have a meeting very quickly, and I need to update you on everything."
Okay. But it's done. It's over.
Ugh, you can't really be over when redoing an
Adonis.
entire society. Yes.
Yes, we
He's dead.
killed him. Yes. he's
The
dead.
Lich is
go on.
dead.
More
Ding dong,
specifically,
Lich is dead.
Ava killed him.
Yeah, thank you, killer.
Yeah, I saw his fist go through his chest. It was crazy. Also, why am I speaking with an accent now? What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Stole
it's kind of
mine,
bit
you
the back, yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
This is the second time you've done that, Ace.
Wrong,
Is it?
wrong Cooper
Yeah.
Quest. Wrong Cooper Quest. Wrong Cooper Quest.
Yeah, I think you
That's
do
yeah.
your other character's voice.
It's okay.
Okay,
You can
cool.
steal my accent in Kupo Quest Eorzea when it makes more sense and you do have an accent there.
I think it's funny. I think it's part of your character growth. Maybe you're like trying on new accents, right? You're like, it's the
I
year
need
of
a
me.
new identity.
I'm reinventing
God,
myself.
it's me in middle school.
New
I
name.
hate it.
Ew.
No,
So-
but he said, but you
Go ahead.
see, he passes out meals. I think he sees that he didn't realize Leonhardt was here, and I think Ava, you see, he immediately just hands his plate to her.
Well, she's out of the room,
And
and
then-
Bazcat does have 4
yeah.
plates, so
No, I'm kidding.
Yoink the child!
It's-
Destroy the child!
you
Yeah, that's fine.
you have more than enough. I mean, when you said like 8 or 9 people, they brought you more than enough food. Bazcat
good,
probably
good, good.
could have that 5th plate.
It's
Oh,
like
that's
it's
nice.
like that part of Parks and Rec when he's like, "Give me all the bacon you have." Now I'm worried that you heard, "Give me a lot of bacon." What I said was, "Give me all the bacon you have."
Yeah, that's when
I love this
he
game.
says, so, good news, bad news. Bad news is Alexandria is currently in a civil war, I'm assuming. I'm just taking a guess here because I don't think it went well. But that's just based off of feelings. Ava, would you be able to check in with your friends to see? Why is there
Yeah, Alexandria.
Ava, let's all talk with fancy accents, shall
Oh
we?
yes, well.
Let me just say it's really only been about an hour since the last update you've gotten, so you won't be able
Mr.
to get into
Isaiah
it.
Hecate, Alexandria sounds, Alexandria's, they reported that they're not going to be any use anytime soon.
So civil war, that means an utter lack of army men to join with this potential
Yeah,
fight.
you're
Which
looking at Cornelia, and if you can, you've got Balam, but their forces are pretty thin right now, and
Mhm.
Mysidia, if you can secure the alliance
You
that
have
you're in the middle
all
of
three
doing.
of us from Balam.
I don't know what I
Maybe four.
expected. We did kind of send a teenager to do peace talks with a known narcissist. So I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. We do need to get in touch. I
He's talking
do
about
need to get in
Incarnate.
touch.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I do need to get in touch with Miss Kryl at some point, but I don't think her services are going to be
Mother.
worth much more than helping those in her city. If I'm being honest, I would prefer them to have a doctor just in case
That
things get worse than they need to. Um, other than that,
No.
I think my only thing is Euphrasia. Do you want to speak on behalf of your nation while we're in these talks, or are you just here for your own mission?
I'd like to. I don't know how much authority I do have, but I know I could speak on behalf of my temple. And if what you need is healers, my temple has that in spades.
But are you sure that Ishgar would be willing to let them leave?
I'm not sure, but
Ugh.
my mum is the temple's leader, and
Give me a history check, Euphrasia.
And my dad works at Nintendo.
I don't know who the fuck my dad is, but I'm
Oh,
sure know he
Akiva.
works at Nintendo.
So you would know that Ishgard technically does try to maintain a neutral stance, and it helps because they're so far separated. However, they have in the past allied themselves with the nations in the south, so it's not unheard of. It's not like the Elizan over in Sandoria who have basically just forsaken everyone else. Your nation does try to stand apart, but given the circumstances, you don't think aid is out of the question.
Yeah. Is it certain that I can do anything or that they can do anything? No, but nothing in this world is ever certain anymore. That's for fucking sure. Um,
Mm. If that's
but
the case,
it
oh,
is
go ahead.
likely, and with my mum being head of the temple, she's my mum. She'll listen to me. You can see like she kind of gets just a little bit distant, trailing off as she's saying this.
Well, if
and
you want,
and she can convince them to let them go, and they're very capable people,
Mm,
the
I think
clerics.
that if we're going to ask them to do anything, your temple or Ishgard, we're going to need as much information as possible, which means we need to get all the nations on our side more interconnected with one another. Because if I'm being honest, I don't think we can promise Mysidia anything without the approval of various leaders first. The leaders need to be connected to one by one, and they need to be willing to do meetings because I feel as if we're going to need Squall and Sarah if we're going to talk about what to do next with the Empire. So right now, I think it's just getting aid, promise of aid from Mysidia, if I'm being honest.
So we're
Does
just
that sound
looking. Sorry.
does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
doable
Yeah.
enough
Sounds good to me.
Miss-
between the lot
Mysidia-
of us.
Mysidia doesn't have an army per se, but more so wizards that they will have act in times of need and crisis. And I think that this is the perfect time. We're also going to need powerful mages who are willing to help if we can. My mother will never see the front lines of war. If anything, that would be the biggest, most impossible ask. But I don't think she would be opposed into trying to convince a few powerful mages who are willing to fight for their homestead as best she can.
Perhaps an open call of sorts.
That would be better because an open call allows her to still
Pick and choose.
It allows her to pick and choose, but it also allows any of her allies who she doesn't want to disappoint to deny the call gracefully. Unfortunately,
Well, that's perfect.
we need to think a lot about her image, unfortunately, because she does have one to keep, especially if she's going to be the new leader for a bit.
Well, a leader making a call to action with a convincing and strong, powerful speech is certainly quite an effective image.
I feel
But-
like Lauren has thoughts based on
He
that
has
face.
so many thoughts in his head right now.
Are you like making a face in the corner?
Oh yeah, he is horrible at hiding things. He's just sitting in the
Literally,
corner
what is your
listening.
problem? You're making so many faces.
I'm
My
trying to think of a way to explain it without calling you two very entitled. Like, I get it. You don't know the idea of, like, the common folk, so to speak. And an open call idea would be a good idea if
I'm
the common
sorry,
folk
but
respected
if
you
you
more.
If you don't mind, Lauren, this has nothing to do with the citizens of Mysidia. In what world would I ask them to fight a war for a country that's been horrible to them?
Your mother's going to ask the high mages to fight for her? Are they all going to
For
say
her
yes and not want to save their lives?
For her specifically, whether they say yes or no doesn't matter to me. We need allies regardless. If the call to action comes at the cost of these people, I'd rather not have it. I would rather do this fight by myself and die than allow these people to be unsafe.
If they, the
Ava,
thing
you hear
is,
in your head, he wouldn't be the only one dying. You need to make sure your friends know how outnumbered they are. The one that makes faces has a point. Sorry, I stopped remembering their names. Your friends tend to die. So, it's not worth
That
committing
is
them to memory.
very targeted, but very true. And
hey,
Specifically, all the ones with Australian accents.
that just gives me
Yeah.
more incentive to stay around because not
Yeah,
only
but-
do I have Titan, I am his friend now.
You
Exactly.
see, he stops and he says, if any of the citizens were to answer this call, I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't deny them. I just wouldn't like it. But I would not ask them specifically. That would be ridiculous if I'm being frank.
That's why you put out the open call. You give them the choice to accept or deny. You let them at least have that agency, which is
More
in and of itself rather
specifically,
powerful.
I want an open call to mages. We
Yeah.
have plenty of warriors with Cornelia. We could do more open calls. The elven, Jesus Christ, not y'all being broke too. We can ask the elven kingdom. I think that there are more things we can do before we ask these people. before we ask
The
these
elves.
people to get involved.
The only reason I got into their city was because I was one of them. You think the elves are gonna do shit?
Regardless, because this fight is seeming more impossible the more you all bring up these points. You're correct in being worried, Lauren. As someone who's grown up in privilege, I don't see the world the same as you do, so I always am happy to be challenged in that way. And I'm always open to any suggestions you think may work better.
Yeah, fuck it. I have never had an opinion that I haven't just thrown at someone, regardless of their emotional feelings or attachments to it. Here's the thing, right? The issue with the lower people or the common people or whatever the fuck people are going to call them is that they are going to want to fight for their freedom or they are going to want to fight for their country. Honestly, with what I've heard from Mysidia, which I'm gonna be real with you, Izzy, I apologize, it's not good things for a long time. The downside
Correct.
to that is that we know that the common folk are definitely not going to be fighting for their country. They're going to be fighting for their freedom. And with the words that I have been told, learnt, and found from Mysidia, y'all are kind of so far up your own arse that the common folk don't really care. Why do you think they've tried to be so distant? The downside to this is that with the issue of the whole archmage, we've killed Adonis, cool. Use that as a power move to incite the people. Because if they know that the higher ups are now in a bit of a shamble or a bit of a issue, whatever's going on, they're gonna start to realize that they have power again. They have that minute sense of authority over themselves and not just the classes between them. We can still use them as a way to help. They have laborers, they have merchants, they have blacksmiths, they have leather workers, they have all of these people that have these skills that you guys up the top may not have. You have power, you have magic. Brilliant. We might be able to combine the two of them. If we wanted to keep your idea of the common folk out, perhaps we can then start to incite a deal between the lower and the upper classes. Instead of having fighters, create magical items, create armor, create swords that can help and combat things, create your scroll spell things. I don't know. I don't fucking learn my magic. It was given to me. But the thing that annoys me about it, and I say this with love, Izzy, I promise you, is that if they didn't respect the upper class before, they're not going to respect the upper class now. And if you guys are all these high mages that have been staying out of combat, why would they suddenly want to start fighting? They're going to start pretending to care for their own people. So yes, an open call is good. You're the one that's going to have to lead the open call. Because the open call is going to be, hey, who wants to fight? None of the people out there that live in their high and mighty thing are going to want to fight. They're going to want to stay alive. So if all these little people start to come up and say, hey, I want to fight, obviously they're going to send them to the gallows. They're going to want to kill them instead, rather than put themselves in danger. So I don't disagree with the idea of an open call. I do agree with the essence of it. However, I do not think giving that power of choice to the higher mages that already see them as peasants and lesser class people is going to make any real difference. If anything, it's just going to end up with less people underneath, and it's still going to perpetuate the stereotype that the upper class don't care about them. And this is something that I'd like to drill into Squall's head for years before he finally understood that just because he's a soldier and has merit doesn't mean he's any better than anyone else.
Where was this guy 3 revolutions ago?
You just explained the entire reason I suggested an open call.
Yes, but you weren't talking about it correctly.
Well, I apologize for being vague, I guess.
We can't deal with the vagueness now. We're on the precipice of a war. Damn it, I almost said a war of the worlds. I don't want to do that.
A war of the worlds.
I figured that the more powerful people, the higher ups would end up getting. I don't think conscripted is the right word here, but they're going to get sent because they're the most powerful and would be great.
Regardless, what we need to understand.
There's a knock at the door. A really loud knock.
Oh shit.
Izzy will go and answer the door as his thought is interrupted.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Sorry, I've been sent to tell you that your presence is requested by your mother. If now's a bad time, I can send word, but she has let me know that she's ready for you.
Perfect. Well, we will be there in just a couple moments.
Very well. I shall
Thank you.
let her know.
He closes the door and he says, we don't have time to, we can talk about this more later. Regardless, Lauren, you're 100% right. It would be small-minded to assume that these people higher up would even take what they're given and be conscripted into war with an open call. It would most likely fall on the heads of those less privileged regardless. And I do agree that having them help in other ways may be more helpful to all of this, and that maybe me leading the open call is the better option. Unfortunately, I may need some help with that, and I would love for you to work with me to do so.
We just need to be smart about it, that's all.
Perfect. This is what I like about having multiple voices speaking into my ear. All right, we have a meeting to get to.
Imagine
We
how
have a
you
meeting to
feel.
get to.
Was that a play? Gracie literally looks at like Ava and then back. Was that a play on?
Guys, let's.
You people are clever.
The meeting hall is this way, guys. Let's go.
I like you people. You're so clever.
Yeah.
Funny.
You see, he points to Laura and says, "Okay, open call conscripting for help rather than soldiers. First suggestion, great. Second, we get the force whose job it is to normally defend in times of emergency to help with this, and we can figure out the rest later. How's that sound?"
Valid.
Okay, perfect.
Call my mom, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see, he gives Taurus a kiss on the cheek and he says, "Do you want to come with this, or is diplomacy and politics not your thing?"
I would just assume stay here. I can watch the kid though. Like,
It's more so going to be the other way around, but that's fine.
okay. No, I think I'd rather stay if you don't mind. Your mother's an intense person.
Perfect. If anything happens, rely on Oki's knowledge on escaping.
Who is this child?
Oh, it's my daughter.
That's Ava's daughter.
You met her on the airship when we were fleeing. Well, you didn't really
I'll-
meet her, but we've when we were like running with the airship, and then
Right.
yeah.
Your
Got a
daughter.
good kid,
That's
Ava.
all I needed to know.
Well, thank you.
Okay. We're heading over to the meeting with your mother then, right?
Correct.
I get to start my favorite go-to playlist for every time you meet with people like this.
Oh boy.
It's basically the Kupo Quest soundtrack at this point. You make your way over. Imagine it's quiet. There's not much conversation left to be said at this point. As you go to the big double doors that lead into the meeting room where you've been before. I do have a map I'll load up, so if you want to launch the maps of the campaign.
Come back.
No, just
fight the room. Fight the diplomacy.
I mean, you can, but I had a map, so I'm just using it again. You've seen it before.
Everyone roll initiative.
Up here in Ishgard, we do diplomacy and trial by combat. You thought you thought I was fancy or something? No, I have a strength of 15. I'm actually a little bit jacked.
Shit. My wife is here.
You go in. Remember while we started 15 minutes late? I was like, "Oh, I just thought of the perfect people for the council. I need tokens. Give me a second." As the double doors open, there are 5 people seated around this table. At the far end, at the head of the table, in the chair that was once reserved for Odonis, sits Medea. To her right is a smaller wizard who wears this large, it's very similar to the black mage hat you've seen, but his entire face is cloaked in darkness. all you can see are these two yellow eyes just kind of looking out. He looks around the room, not saying anything. On her left is a pompous-looking human with just this really shiny blue hair, kind of all over the place. He's dressed incredibly regally as he just kind of sits like this, with his elbows on the table, just kind of leaning forward, watching you come in. Then the other two chairs are taken by a younger woman with just like shoulder-length brunette hair, who's just kind of watches you and smiles and nods as you finally enter. And
icon.
A Mithra woman who glances at you, and you can see that her eyes are pupilless as they just have this kind of gray, cloudy sheen to them as she just kind of looks in your direction.
My wife.
But she kind of looks around as though she's not seeing you so much, but the auras around you as she just kind of looks back and forth to all of you.
I would like to point out that we haven't... Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I would like to point out we haven't had a long rest or anything like that since we fought the fucking Lich, so we probably all look beat to shit. I just want to point that out.
I will say, if you want to take a short rest, if you didn't, then you absolutely can. You've had time for
I already took one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Izzy has... I'll say in the hallway, Izzy told everyone where to sit. He has Ava sit to his left. He has Euphrasia sit to his right. He has Lauren and Bazcat essentially stand behind him left to right, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'll Bazcat will probably like lean up against this pillar and like
Bazcat's job is to look intimidating in the corner.
Yeah, he's picking his nails with a dagger, is what he's doing.
Hell yeah.
I'll say, I actually like to think it cuts to a flashback where he says, Lauren, they're most likely going to have some way to communicate with each other without us seeing. If you have anything you need to say with me, feel free to use a spell or to just whisper to me.
Magic cloud in here?
Yeah.
Just try not to speak out of turn. It'll be seen as disrespectful. If you have any thoughts, feel free to give them to me, and I will gladly speak for you.
I'm going to start writing in my book.
Okay. Do I need to know what you're writing?
No, it's basically just going to be like the secretary writing.
You're like journaling.
Also,
Gotcha.
one last question, DM, before this starts. Izzy knows all these people, right?
Yes. Yeah. You've
Cool.
seen them before. They've been on the council for quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah, before he sits, he bows respectfully and says, Mistress Yuna, you look as lovely as ever. Master Vivi, you look wonderful as well. Master Seymour, I see you've gotten some more jewelry to match your beautiful and exquisite clothing.
Yes, I have.
And Mistress Yastola, I actually bought a gift for you. I remember you're very into Deadwardian histories, so I made sure to bring the original 3 volumes from my private study. You see he brings them, and he waves his hand, and 3 of the books float to her. And
she
he
just
says,
kind of
Mother?
feels them as they lay down. Thank you.
And then he
This
just
brings
says,
a smile to my
Mother.
face.
Very respectful nod before sitting.
Son. So, here we are. She kind of looks around at everybody. This is what's left of the council. The others, well, they were unable to be convinced to see the light, but they've been dealt with.
So now they see the light. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Does Lauren say that out loud?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to think he'd mutter into Izzy.
No,
Yeah,
definitely
Izzy-
not. I just, like,
Damn.
I won't
Yeah,
tell you which
Izzy
one, but one of them would have found that funny.
Yeah, Izzy, remembering what Ava said before, you see he puts his hand on his chest and gives one. He's like, a shame, truly.
Truly. But what we have here are the 5 members of the council still remaining that actually believe in Mysidia's future. And just so we're clear again, you have completed your end of the bargain.
Yes, better than I would say we would have thought before.
And what of the special relic that your father kept?
Is she
Still in
referring to the
pieces
staff?
on the floor.
She's
She
referring
was
to
referring to the staff, correct?
Does Bad Cat speak up?
Yeah, absolutely. Bazcat looks up and goes, "It's in pieces on the floor if you'd like to go inspect it."
So you were able to destroy the phylactery.
Yes.
Wonderful. Then it is well and truly over. Oh, that's a relief.
Well, this is Mother, I understand that it's customary, as this is your all's council's room for you all to speak first. But Ava and Euphrasia have come a long way from their respective places to be here, and I would like to get a few requests out of the way to see what you all think first.
Very well. One moment, though. I do believe that there is a piece of business that we should discuss before we get into that. Negotiations or
Of
whatever
course.
you've come planned for will be soon, but as you know, it is Mysidian law that there must always be at least some form of representation in the form of an archmage. Normally, it is one selected from the council. The council does the selecting, anyway. We normally elevate one of our own. But we do need to name an interim archmage for the time being.
So you all are going to do the normal way of election, I'm assuming, at some point.
At some point, we will need to fill the ranks of our council here. And as you know, those are elected officials. So we will need to fill the other 3 seats. At that point, we can go through the official archmage process.
All right. Would you all like to vote now, or would you like us to leave to do so, or will that come later?
They all kind of look at each other. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just informing you of what we've done. We've already selected the archmage.
Perfect.
And actually, you were kind of the one that gave me the idea, to be honest. Talking about, our connection, how we needed more connection with God, what did you call them? The every folk or whatever. I'm not trying to sound condescending. I'm just trying to. Anyway, we've selected one very powerful mage. That was brought up from humble beginnings. The door behind you opens. You turn around. And
It's Inora, isn't it?
Is Inora.
Yeah.
I mean,
pretends to be shocked.
Yes.
She walks around. As she's walking around, she looks over at you, Izzy, and just gives you a wink.
Euphrasia throws up her eyebrows like she ain't hiding nothing on her face. She looks directly in her eye with her eyebrows thrown up.
So,
I love this so
DM.
much.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I don't like to be like that guy, but above board, I knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah, I figured.
I feel like this is probably one of the more obvious plot points for Mysidia that we kind of.
Yeah.
Not saying it's a bad idea, just.
She's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Medea gets up and steps to the side and lets Inora take the seat. If Vivi then hops up and lets Medea sit down.
All right, guys, we don't have to.
He comes
back here.
Yeah,
I was about to say, music starts playing, we all get up and start walking around.
No. He comes up and just kind of goes back and leans up against the pillar, kind of opposite Bazcat.
Hell yeah. Pillar boys.
Bazcat gives him like a yeah nod.
So,
I think Izzy gives his mom a look, and he kind of like raises his eyebrows in a type of way.
I know what you're thinking.
I think when a Nora looks at him, he doesn't look shocked, but she would see his gears are turning.
I know what you're thinking, Izzy, your mom says. But you have to think of the story here. A mage of humble beginnings becomes the apprentice to the archmage. He takes her under his wing until he grows dark. And the very pupil he took in, instrumental in bringing him down. Now that's a story you can sell to the populace. That's a story that can rally people. At this point, Honora chimes in. And there's the detail that I have information that you all need.
Rallying the people behind a mage of humble beginnings. That's quite smart, Mother. I commend you all. I think that this may help us more than I had previously thought at first.
Seymour kind of laughs. Commend us. Of course we're smart. We're the council. You don't get to where we are by being dumb. No offense. He looks over at Bazcat.
I want to punch him so bad.
Lauren, you look at Izzy. You can tell he has the exact same thought, but you see immediately he says, "Of course, Master Seymour. By the way, I would love to visit your library soon at one point. I heard you got upgrades."
My library is probably one of the best in Mysidia. Second
now, should I call you? Would you prefer the name Mistress or Archmage Honora? Which title would you prefer, ma'am?
Oh, Izzy, we're far past that. You can just call me Honora.
Of course. What information do you believe is so pressing that we do not have? I'm very curious.
What information do you have? What do you actually know about what the Empire's doing, their inner workings? You forget. Odonis allied with Noctis some time ago, and I have been his right-hand woman the whole time. Now, I won't say that I'm privy to everything, but I definitely know things you don't.
Correct. That is a true statement. What we know so far, or at least I do, is that they seem to be absorbing the crystals to build some sort of machine, I'm assuming. But I actually don't know much more than that. I do know a few things about the Dark Knight here or there, but that won't be any use to you. You see, he looks to Alex. He's like, "Does anyone else know anything more?"
Just that they're siphoning the power we desperately need.
Well, it seems you don't know shit.
So are you going to continue to hold it over us, or are you going to actually tell us?
I'll tell you. Once we've determined exactly what the arrangement is for Mysidia's involvement in this war. Now, as you know, typically we have tried to stay neutral until Odonis brought us into it on arguably the wrong side. Mysidia, and we've talked about it amongst the council, is prepared to help you, but we do need some assurances. What comes after?
What is it that you all are looking for specifically?
They kind of just look around at each other. Seymour is the first one to pop up. Honestly, it's getting kind of drab up here. Ever since we had closed off trade with the underlings down there on the ground, things have been so stale. I would love to get some exotic materials from, well, fuck, anywhere, to be honest. You can see at this point, Yuna just kind of rolls her eyes. It is the council's current position that perhaps Mysidia's reluctance to engage with the earthbound cities has potentially stifled our growth somewhat. We would like to make sure that we have trade agreements set in place, at least with the cities that you're able to negotiate for. And at this point, Medea kind of pops up. Lucrative trade, that is. We have things we can share, knowledge, books, magic. But what can the lower people offer us?
DM, above board, I know
Yes.
Balam's big thing is like naval power, water.
Mhm.
What is Cornelia's big exports? And things like
Cornelia
that?
has been crippled by the Empire. They basically got
Stone,
cut off. Yeah, so
wobbled.
they don't have much because it was like the last 10, 15 years,
Graveyard.
the Empire literally took all of the land around Cornelia, kind of boxing them off,
Mhm.
and was imposing such high like tariffs and trade route just impediment. They haven't been able to export much. Now, they do their, crops, though, if they were able to. They've got like wheat and stuff like that. At one point, they were actually a pretty big export of chocobo in the region. But as you know, that has been long since gone. But you do know where there's a chocobo forest.
Yeah, but we're
Or
not gonna
Ishgard.
mess with them and mess with those people.
What does Ishgard have to offer, trade-wise?
Ishgard
No.
doesn't trade that much. Now, they do, like I said, they breed those very, very specific type of mountain chocobo, but those are like super luxury items that, kings and queens would get for their menagerie. It's not something that they necessarily export. For the most part, they are self-sufficient. They trade with the town of Narsh more than anything else. And then some limited trade with Alexandria, and they have some crops that are only grow in the northern regions. That is their main export with them.
But the mountain chocobos is absolutely something the Seymour motherfucker would be interested in.
Oh
Yeah,
my God. He would, that's all he needs to hear to get his vote. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
I'm literally, if I know that much, I am going to say, I may or may not be Ishgardian.
Ishgardian? Well, I've heard rumors about a very particular type of chocobo you have up in Ishgard. Is that
beautiful.
true? I've never seen
Yes, they're
one.
beautiful.
He looks over at Medea and Nora. Now that is the kind of thing we could use up here to brighten the place up, don't you think? Medea kind of rolls her eyes at that.
Izzy speaks up and he says, Lauren here is actually from Balam, and while they deal mostly in naval exports, they actually are the home to a very brilliant artificer who may be of some use to you. The problem is, he left because of the war, and we would need to go find him and tell him that things are all right. Right. But currently, that's the best they would have to offer. Unfortunately, he doesn't feel safe living in the city in wreckage as it is currently.
That's fair.
I think at the end of the day, the idea is, I think there's certainly a very high probability that Mysidia could get something out of what happens after the war. The only problem is exactly what that looks like may have to wait until after the war, and you may have to be all right with that arrangement.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh shit. My persuasion isn't good. Why am I talking? I shouldn't be talking.
Fun.
Oh!
Yeah, boy.
Holy shit!
It
You
was meant
crazy
to
coming in for
be.
the win.
Wow.
Honora looks over at you. You do make a very good point. How's this? We will leave it open for now, on the understanding that upon the completion of this war, there will be trade agreements signed with Mysidia, Balam, and Cornelia.
Mysidia. Okay, cool. You see, Izzy says, Ava, do you think that the queen would be amenable to that, or at least hearing you out?
Yes, I'm sure I could absolutely convince Queen Sarah that this is a great idea.
Of course. I don't want you all to think that these people are trying to force you into a position to help rebuild their cities. We understand that would be taxing even for the coffers up here. We just need help with this war, this battle, and we need you all to be able and willing to meet with these leaders who we trust. If you all wish to just give your soldiers and then talk about trade agreements while they're rebuilding, that's completely understandable, and I would even be amenable to helping with that. But for now, making sure that this war ends and saving the crystals, that's our group's biggest priority right now.
Very well. Kind of look, and they all kind of nod at each other. Seymour goes. Honora looks back. Okay. We have 2 more requests. Or demands. Once the Empire falls, what is the plan with the divvying up of that territory?
If I'm being quite...
would like a portion in order to rehouse some of our ever-growing population. We're getting spread thin up here.
I think that's above our pay grade.
Yeah, above board, this is making me happy for some plans I have for post-campaign, but we're not going to talk about that.
Euphrasia going to whisper to Izzy, I think that one's above our pay grade. We can't promise anything.
Well, we can speak on that later. Regardless, I don't see Balam being as far at... DM, can you switch the map real quick, actually, before I say this?
You want to see, like, the actual map? Like, where things are? Yeah.
Oh, wait, actually, I'm pretty sure you posted it somewhere, right?
I did.
Oh my god, the Chicobos are so fucking cute. I just looked at the chat.
For the stream, I can show you the map. So Mysidia is currently right here, kind of hovering off in the ocean.
Yes.
Here's Cornelia.
Mm-hmm.
Lindblom is up here.
Lindblom is where Noctis and all them is at.
Yeah. That is the seat, the capital seat.
Cool. You see actually, I think Izzy waves his hand and a map appears. You see he actually begins looking at it, and you see he says, it seems that, Lauren, it doesn't seem as if Balam would have much to gain from, would have any reason to try to take this territory as far as it is, right?
At this current point, no. Balam tends to deal with naval and the marine life around the outskirts of the country, while we may be situated on the coast peninsula to the south. We do have ports specifically for us in each coastal city, as we tend to do quite a lot of marine conservation, so to speak.
And Ava, Queen Sarah would probably only be interested in the land closest to her, right? If any.
Ava, you would know specifically they would at least want the territory of Altair.
Okay, I figured it was either going to be Altair or Kanan.
Well, at least Altair, even though you guys burned it to the ground. And
yeah.
Kanan was also theirs before.
Yeah.
So you'd think they would want both of those back.
Would you all? Unfortunately, I don't think Altair would be on the table for you all. I just
It's a
think
pile
that's
of rubble,
non-starter.
anyways. Currently, it would be a bigger headache for
Yes.
you guys to deal with than to take. Realistically,
Also,
Queen
there
Sarah
were-
would at least want one of her properties back.
Yes. Also, there are people from there who are currently misplaced. As for Cannon, that's essentially a relic, right, Ava?
Yeah, wasn't there like demon dogs or something, DM?
No, Kanan's where you're from, Ava.
Which one had the demon dogs?
Wow.
You didn't go there. It's the ruins here, south of Lindblom.
Oh, okay.
Ava, do you think that
Yeah,
do you
Yeah,
think that
it
Queen
was
Sarah
Xanarkand.
would be do you think that Queen Sarah would be against sharing some of the land of Canaan? Or do you think she would prefer the entirety of it?
I mean, everybody would prefer the entirety of their own home, but I'm sure she would be open to. I'm sure she would be open to gain at least something.
Elfheim falls into Empire territory, does it not?
It does.
Correct. If I'm being honest, that doesn't seem... You see, he looks up, he goes through his Rolodex of people he's met. And he says, that doesn't seem like it would be a problem for anyone if Mysidia took that.
Give me a history check.
Okay, thank you, DM. Thank you for letting me make a check before I spoke.
You're welcome.
The Izzy Rolodex. I need like a copy of that so that
Damn,
Phrasey
that's
can
a
have like
dirty
an
20.
index of your names.
You rolled a 3 and got a 20?
Correct. I have a
I
plus
love
17 to
this game.
history.
What?
I have a plus 17 to history.
Elfheim has been rather highly contested as an Alexandrian property.
Yikes.
Well, Alexandria is too busy fighting itself, so
Yeah.
yoink.
Yeah.
So just make whatever
I
decision
think
you want to.
I think Izzy says, I'm going to be honest. While I would hate for our good friend, the Queen, or potential, to have Elfheim taken, unfortunately, there's not really much we could do ourselves. We can get you into talks with the Queen, but that would have to be after Alexandria's done fighting itself. I wish to be fair to you. I wish to be fair to you all because it could get complicated.
That's fair. And we appreciate the warning. Although technically Elfheim does belong to the Emperor now. So once we topple them, if those that we're entering into alliance with here have no objection, Mysidia will lay claim to Elfheim, and we can handle negotiations from there.
A good way to handle that would be helping with the annexation of the old Queen. Unfortunately, she seems a bit preoccupied in her luxurious lifestyle to actually care for the needs of the people. And her daughter's trying to claim power there. She's a very steadfast but simple girl. If you help her, she'll most likely be more willing to help you all out, and will probably have less of an issue about you all potentially taking old land that belonged to her ancestors.
And she has the golden grin on her side, so she has capable people with her.
Good to know. As you say that, Vivi kind of walks down. He kind of pulls himself up and whispers, or like gets really close to her, and seems to be whispering something into her ear, and then walks back. Okay.
This is going to sound like a stupid... He has a mouth that moved? I don't know if you described that, him having a mouth.
You know, all you see are 2 eyes. He walks
Cute.
up.
He looks like a Jawa.
Yeah, he gets here, And you only assume he's whispering something because of how close he gets, and she's kind of nodding, and then he goes away. Izzy, you would also know no one, except for the archmage, has ever heard Vivi speak.
Vivi is like a Jawa.
Yeah, Honora continues. That brings us to our last non-negotiable point. We want, at this point, Medea speaks up. You, Izzy. We want you to agree to come home, to live in Mysidia. We will need you here for the rebuilding effort after all this is said and done. Are you willing to rededicate yourself to the country that you belong to?
Lauren's going to write a question down in his book and kind of place his hand gently on Izzy's shoulder and show it around, saying, they haven't mentioned your brother at all.
Yeah. You see that he says, I'm willing to help with the rebuilding. I'm willing to help you all with creating a world that's better for the people who live here. But I will not be dedicating myself to this country because I don't live here anymore. I'll be dedicating myself to the work that needs to be put into it.
That's what we're saying. We want you to live here, take a spot on this council, and help drive the future of Mysidia. This is our one non-negotiable point.
So you wish for me to become a councilman?
I believe you've earned it.
And you say non-negotiable. What happens if I say no?
Then we'll wish you luck on your journey, and hopefully you can figure out where you need to go before it's too late.
I think they see him sit back and take an actual, pensive think about it. And he says, I will become a councilman on 2 conditions. One.
They are?
One, you all need to bring my brother back home as quickly as humanly possible. I don't care how many man-hours it takes. I don't care how many resources you need to find. I want him back here.
I'm not going to leave my son halfway across the world. Of course we'll bring him home. Your other point?
And two, you see he stops and he thinks for a second before he speaks. And he says, to be quite frank, because that's the best way I speak, while I believe that most of you have the best interests of our people, I don't think all of you, as I, fully understand them. And we will need to make a concerted effort. If you all want this to work, just as I'm willing to listen to all of your points of views, whether I agree, disagree, like, or don't like you, I need you all to be willing to listen to those who know better than us. You need to be willing to listen to outsiders and hear their thoughts on our city. I need you all to promise to be more open to the idea of change. Because we can sit here and make laws all day, but if those laws don't make our citizens happy, then what's the point? All I'm asking is that you all be open. Because if I'm going to be on this council, you should expect that I'm going to challenge your beliefs every step of the way if I don't agree with them.
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure. Could I argue advantage?
I was about to say, can I add on to this? Sitting in a circle of yes men and people that don't challenge you will give you what Adonis was. We don't need that again.
Gag it!
Oh, T-bitch!
I'll give you the advantage.
Cool. That's a +6.
That's better than my +0.
Ooh, yikes.
12.
Sir.
Fucking 12. God
Not
damn
bad.
it, Izzy. It's always when it matters. Ugh.
And Nora takes over speaking now. We're not opposed to change, but you'll have to understand that nothing happens overnight. We'll need you to play within the confines of the structure we've had set up, at least for a bit, until we can fully integrate all of your ideas.
Of course, that went without saying, but thank you for vocalizing it. Sometimes I need a reminder to look past myself for the greater good.
You seem different, Izzy.
That's what happens when people change for the better.
I like it. More confident. It suits you. Well,
If you all don't mind, we have our requests.
let's hear them.
Firstly, we need an open call to action led by my mother and Honora for mages. I will not allow strictly citizens, if they choose to take this open call, to be on the front lines. If there aren't at least a palpable amount of mages to citizens that I see fit, you're going to need to try harder to make that work. These people who have been through so much don't deserve to have to fight for a country that has shown up to this point that it doesn't care for them.
Well, he's already
Now-
talking like a council member. Listen to this.
Yeah, I think you, Frazee, with your high perception, you see that it is rolling off of his back, unlike it was before, as he continues to talk. And you see
She'll
he
still
says,
do that. She'll still make that noise.
Yeah, that's fair. And you see he says, however,
Even if you don't
I
care,
think-
it's still a dick move.
Yeah, 100%. But you see he says, but they can be useful. Lauren made it open my eyes to the fact that we have merchants, crafters, people who make things, and mages aren't
Artificers.
the best at wearing armor. However, magical items can attest to that. Leather armor can. I would never ask any of you to join the front lines, as I am going to. But I think you all could convince some very powerful mages to help us, more than just our armed troops that help in times of emergency.
At this point, Yestola, who hasn't said anything, speaks up. He makes a valid point. We haven't used the materia forges in quite some time, as we found there was really no need for them. But I believe that is an aid we could provide. Seymour at this point goes, "Oh, materia. Oh, I remember that. It was so beautiful. I remember I had like a whole collection. It was wonderful. Useless little trinkets, but pretty to look at. I'm game for this, if you all are."
Y'all
Honora
have a
look-
distributor on the ground.
Do you say that?
Would Lauren have at some point met Yuffie?
Yes.
No, but really?
I-
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
You-
100%.
You weren't
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
you would have, being a merchant, and you would have
Yeah.
crossed paths at some point, yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. Psychic.
Lauren out loud to add fuel to the fire. While he's been writing down this whole thing in his book, like full secretary
Stenographer.
file, the
You're
entire
the
time.
stenographer.
I even made like a physical joke of me like next page and start writing and everything. Lauren is just gonna stop for a second and just, we have a distributor on the ground. I have a good relationship with a merchant that currently distributes the idea of materia and its essences.
Medea looks over at you. You know the one who's been stealing our materia?
I know of the person that has been distributing it, where the whereabouts of the materia itself, that I do not know.
The one... We have released a few shipments of materia back ordered that we had created forever ago, but every time we do, our shipments get hijacked, the cargo stolen.
Hmm.
You know this person.
Again, ma'am, I know of the distributor, the person that is selling them, so to speak, where they get to their inventory and cargo. That I do not know. But as a merchant myself and someone that works with the guild, so to speak, on the ground, we don't tend to ask questions of where people get things when they are in need. At this present point, of course, I can understand the pointed accusation of who it could be, but I highly doubt that the person in question would be able to single-handedly take down a cargo of your caliber. It would end up being someone much bigger that is distributing that to the people.
Give me a history check.
So while I'm sure, don't like history. Nat 20. Holy shit!
Nat 20.
Yeah.
This is meant to be.
You can say
We
what you're
love
saying, but you as a character know it's absolutely a one-woman job.
Yeah.
You know for a fact that Yuffie is doing
Damn.
all this shit herself.
I
That's
played
impressive.
Reba. That bitch is scary. Yeah, the entire time I'm just gonna go on and talk about. I'm gonna half toe the line of a Merchants Guild conversation, where Lauren's gonna start talking about the idea of there would need to be a large group or even a company of some sort that would have to attack an entire cargo from a magical place that runs specifically on their own between things. Like basically arguing that point. But then the downside to that is that being a merchant, being in trade, being in all of this, and of course you yourself up here have your own trade lines amongst your own people. You have your own people that you talk to in conversations, yada yada. I think we can all agree that if my contact was able to single-handedly do all of that, then I have a lot of things to talk to them about, because it is highly unlikely that this would be a one-person job.
Nora looks over at you. We can take this elsewhere, this conversation, and finish it later, but if we were to open up the materia forges again, I would be very interested in to see the one that's been profiting so much off of them. It sounds like she already has a I don't think you said she. Sounds like they
Nope.
already have a distributor network set up, which we could
Specifically
leverage.
never mentioned a gender.
But also it seems like they may owe us some back pay.
Oh, for sure. And I know that the guild will pay up. Well, I'll make them pay up.
So,
aside from this open call, and I'm not sure what my friends acting as representatives from their respective nations would like. What I would also like, after this is over, I would like a shelter. I would like to help with building a shelter. For those in need, and I would like to help with the hiring of clerics, more clerics and healers, here in Mysidia.
I believe that's something we could do. A shelter. They kind of all look at each other, and some of them, you see Seymour's like, Una just nods. Very
Whether
well.
it's a shelter where multiple people can stay at once, or whether it's free housing for those in need and those who are sick, I care not. I just want to be able to go to those people and help them anytime I'm free.
We can make that happen.
And when it comes to
And my friends, I believe they have requests that they wanted to make potentially.
Well,
He
let's hear it
gestures to
then.
the two next to him.
I'll be honest, your promise of support in trade, teaching magic, especially teaching some of the citizens of Cornelia magic, who are very capable crafters and swordsmen and fighters, but our magic is definitely lacking. And any extra books or knowledge you have to offload or that you're not using would also be appreciated. When the Empire broke the ceasefire, they burned down the Library of Cornelia, which was not the biggest, but one of the bigger ones on the world below.
Your Stola at this point goes, I had not heard. That's terrible. I shall pack up some of my favorite books to send with you. No city should be without knowledge. I'll have them ready by the time you depart.
PBH, the council's a lot cooler than I thought they were going to be.
These are the cool people. Your mom killed all the shit people.
Yeah, I mean, your mom
when you
killed
kill their former, when you kill their former king too, it's kind of like, oh, okay, hold on.
Not only that, but like, let's be real, Wolf. Above table, you've chosen you've chosen 3 of like the better people.
Seymour's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just self-absorbed, from what I can
he's a
gather.
bad.
Okay, I don't know anything about him, but this is just Euphrasy's vibe check. It's like, he's self-absorbed and he's a dickwad, but I can play his game.
I was picking ones. I was like, I want iconic mages from the series is what I want. And
yeah, that's fair.
I will remind people though that just because it is a character from the game, they're not always the exact same.
Hojo is a proof of that. I know. I still want to fucking deck the camp.
I know, but I'm saying like Hojo's proof of that, and Vivi is being very quiet, so you don't know if he's good or bad.
Euphrazy, did you have a request you wanted to make?
Perhaps not necessarily a request, but just something to add on. Well, sort of a request. When it comes to hiring clerics, healers, and the like, I would like you to consider my people.
Would your people actually be willing to come?
My people want to help. We in the Temple of Shiva, we are devoted to Shiva, but we're also just devoted to life and light. And there isn't always much happening in Ishgard. And I'd like to give at least some of my family, something to do, somewhere to go far and wide and truly help people who are in dire, desperate need.
I see no reason to turn down additional alliances with those of Ishgard.
I don't necessarily speak on behalf of the country itself, but I do speak on behalf of my temple.
I think we would be more than willing to reach out and try to build a bridge between the Temple of Shiva and Mysidia.
And if you all don't mind, my friends here took a very big risk to help me with my mission. I would, if you all could, like you all to compensate them for their work.
I told you they were going to ask for money. I called it. Seymour starts pointing at everybody. I knew it. They want money. They all always want money.
Come now, we killed the Lich. What were you expecting? She immediately matches his energy and just kind of perches her hand on her head on her hand.
No, you're crazy. Don't do it. This is toxic. This is a toxic relationship.
I'm just saying, for those pretending to be heroes, altruistic heroes, I knew there's always money at the end of every conversation.
Bitch, you think I want...
Oh, hold on. Bazcat has to do something.
Bazcat is gonna sort of twirl his dagger and just sort of casually walk and stand behind Seymour. I will do an intimidation check if you don't mind.
Yes, I would love that.
Hell yeah.
This is
As
a
Seymour's
bold
talking,
ass move.
he keeps like tracking you with his
22.
eyes. Like I was saying, they always want money. In the end, it's all.
You think I came all the way from the frigid north because you think just for money? If it was money I wanted, there's so many other places I could have gotten it.
At this point, he's not even listening to you. He's just looking over his shoulder at Bascat.
There's no point in a petty conversation such as this. I'm asking on behalf.
Another thing as well to mention is why would a leader of the Merchants Guild in a major city need money when they already have contacts to get whatever they want? We don't want money. We don't need money. But there are other ways that compensation can be made.
That's what she said.
Honora looks over at Izzy. I've been offering that for quite some time, actually.
Fucking A! You phrasing chokes.
She just gives you this very sly smile.
You have never seen a blanker look on a man's face before he says.
You phrasing chokes on her own spit and like starts fucking dying in the corner.
What would you like to suggest, Lauren?
At the moment, obviously the Empire is the biggest threat. We have the means to attain the people, and we have the means to attain the power. What we do not have the means to attain right now is knowledge and items. Obviously, being in a place of magic, there are people that are not going to have magic, but are skilled in other talents. Leatherworking, metalworking, weapons, items. And of course, Honora, my dear, you have knowledge. A lot more than we have. We have extended that already. So the compensation being that we don't need money, and theoretically speaking, we don't need people unless they want to help. Hence the open call that my friend mentioned earlier. So what we are asking for, if we may, is the knowledge of what we are going to be getting ourselves into, because no army should fight a war without the knowledge of what they're getting into, and items that can help us deal with it. This also secures your own seats and the people of Mysidia outside of combat itself, whilst still helping us deal with the battle at hand.
You'd basically be carrying your branding with us into battle.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
I literally am asking for a sponsorship from Mysidia. Jesus Christ.
Give me
Does he get advantage because I tacked that on there?
Hold on. I would like to give... Okay,
ahead.
cool. I don't have to.
No, he gets advantage for a couple reasons. One, you have already kind of slowly made... Most of the council has already come onto your side. Right?
No thanks to me and that 12.
Go ahead and give me an advantage persuasion.
That's why we like the nat 20s in the room.
There's been like so many. This has gone so well for you all.
There's been 2.
Well, but then there was always there was also
and high rolls, lots of high
bastard
rolls.
20.
19, 17, 24.
24.
Bruh.
At this point, Yuna talks. If we are going to reopen the materia forges, I believe that would be more than payment. I mean, we can make some very powerful materia and outfit each of you with one. Priceless, to be honest.
Interesting.
She looks over at Bascat, and you wouldn't have to get a new weapon, as I'm told you're quite fond of the ones that you have.
Yeah. My boy Amak, she's done me good.
As for information, and she kind of looks over at Honora, Y'shtola and Seymour both also look at Honora. What'd you roll? 24?
Yep. I can add on to Yuna's comments as well to make it even more sweet.
Go for it.
When Yuna mentions, first of all, mother, but when Yuna mentions the idea of using the materia forges to create, what the fuck is my camera doing? Jesus, you right there, buddy? You
I don't
good?
know, yeah.
We're having a rave over here in Psychic in Australia.
Yeah, basically, when Yuna mentions the materia forges, I'm going to, again, place a hand on Izzy's shoulder. And at this point, you know that this is just me having an idea that I'm going to say for the betterment of everything. I'm also going to mention that, and with the use of the materia forges, if we were to hold on to powerful materia that my contact does not have access to, that's going to start raising questions, which means they're going to start actively wanting to open conversations as well, which also is going to deal with your Materian problem.
Give me a D8.
A D8, Jesus.
I'm basically just giving you a low-level bardic inspiration onto your already roll.
Mm.
So
Thank you.
28,
28.
essentially.
Jesus.
Basically seeing if you could clear a 26. It was a low bar, but still.
We take these.
Honora looks at you back and forth. That does seem mutually beneficial. And yes, I can provide the information. Is that all of the requests we have in the room?
Other than to speak with my mother privately after this, but other than that, no.
Very well. I suppose you're wanting to get to the information portion, then. Well, you are right. The Empire is building something. They've codenamed it Project Omega. Now, I don't have all of the details about what that goes into, but I can assure you it's some kind of large weapon. A weapon that's supposed to be able to rival that of any army on the continent. Now, originally they were channeling all of the energy from the crystals, but as we know, you have been quite a thorn in their side. I believe they have a little power from each, but the only crystal they've fully been able to capture is that of the fire crystal.
Yeah.
And yes, it has been fully depleted as of 3 days ago. At this point,
Fuck.
Ava, you hear, "Fuck. I was okay with Ifrit. Kinda bummed."
I like the idea that we both say fuck at the same time.
Now, here's the thing. Because of this, the weapon is damn near operational. Now, it's not as strong as they wanted it to be because, like I said, you made sure of that. But it's nothing to be trifled with. Again, I don't know the specifics, but I do know that Odonis used to say it was capable of crushing entire cities in one swoop.
Yikes.
I also know where they're building it. They started research for it in Limblum itself. In fact, it was the key contributor to an explosion they had not too long ago. Destroyed a vast majority of the laboratory, actually. It was at that point that they realized they probably should move their experiments to somewhere a little less volatile.
Important.
Since then, they've been building and constructing this thing in the ruins of Xanarkand. Somewhere no one would ever look. Somewhere people didn't have a reason to go. And with the power they've been channeling, they have nothing to fear from the local fauna.
Mm.
I would imagine that's where the bulk of the Imperial army now is. And I would also imagine that's where you'll find Noctis and his weapon.
Question is, am I correct in assuming that the crystal that was fully siphoned was siphoned into some sort of battery, some sort of tangible object, in a way?
That's my understanding. I don't know the full
Tangible,
details. I'm not an artificer, but yes. Some kind of
tangible
battery that
objects.
I would view it
See, they have
similar to a
this.
phylactery.
See, here's the thing about objects like that. They can be stolen.
Yes, they can be. But if I were building the thing, it would be the heart of the monstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, to get close to it, you'd still have to get past it. This is Noctis's
There are
last attempt to
parasites.
conquer the continent. He plans to use this to threaten those that aren't currently under his control to bend the knee, and destroy those who won't. And believe me, he won't stop here. It's just a matter of time before your precious Ishgard gets in his sights as well.
Euphrasia, like, knows for a fact she's just saying, like, she's correct, but also she's being pointed on purpose.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna, like, react as much, but, you know, someone in her immediate vicinity may feel the non-zero amount of tension.
Well, this seems like quite a bit of information that it seems like all of us need to mull over, us especially. If you all don't mind, I'd like to take some time, and we can come back to meet tomorrow. I believe we do have a speech to potentially give as well.
Okay. Reconvene tomorrow then. Same time? Well,
Perfect.
at this point, Seymour says, can we have like an extra 2 hours before we meet again? Because it is incredibly early. I already got dragged out of my bed today for a coup, and then I'd just like to catch up on my sleep tomorrow.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not gonna lie, mate. I agree.
Lauren's going to just kind of probably the only time he can't catch himself and say, Seymour, you probably enjoyed the coup, didn't you?
Oh, it was wonderful.
That
Adonis was always such a bastard, and then his wardrobe went to shit after he went all lichy. But
you should have seen him at the height of this lichiness. It was awful.
It was just nice to be a part of something again.
I have never wanted to sleep with a man more than Seymour.
You want to see more of that guy, huh?
So Honora puts her hands. That was good. You'll have your punspiration, so go ahead and take that, and you can use it next time because we're winding down. But Honora kind of puts her hands on the table and stands up. Well then, I think we've all earned a rest. We'll reconvene tomorrow and go from there. It's good to have you on board. She gives you a wink, Izzy.
Yeah, very stoned face. He gets up as if he hasn't seen it, and you see he goes to the door, very clearly waiting for Media.
Okay. She'll come with you and just kind of put her hand on your shoulder and say, I believe we have some catching up to do.
Maybe in a bit. I actually have a request first.
And what would that be?
I need a bit of a loan for this upcoming fight because I need to get some more powerful spells. If that fight with Father has proven anything to me, it's that I'm woefully underprepared because of the lack of access I've had.
me a list of what you're looking for, and I'll have someone track it down.
I just need materials. At least 1700 gold pieces worth.
Done.
Thank you.
They'll be
I
at
already
your room
have
later.
half. Thank you. I already have half of the material somewhere else. I just need to get it. And you see, he stops for a second. You see, he sighs. I think I was gonna say Euphrasia. Sorry, Ava. I think you, being someone who knows Izzy, when you see him talking to his mom, I think you see he does that sigh when he's trying to let something go and trust his own judgment instead of trying to control everything. And he says, "If you want, after I go get the material, I was going to bring them back. Would you like to help me and see how using magic works for someone like me?"
Give me an insight check.
Yeah, sure.
Is this
Oh,
conversation outside of the room or outside of earshot?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
waited
Yeah.
to be alone.
Yeah.
Real quick, while
Well,
that's
that's-
rolling, as they were leaving, I bet Bazcat like leans forward and is like, "Now, Seymour, friend, I'd love to hear more
Jesus.
about how we only care about the money." And then like the doors closed, and he's like,
Well, no,
at this point,
I didn't
Why
mean all about the money. Okay, you don't notice
I
anything.
want to jump out of my window.
this is why Wiz is important, boys and
Nah.
girls and non-binary pals. Wiz is an important stat.
You
I
don't.
have
You don't
good
notice.
wisdom. I just don't have insight.
You don't notice anything particular, but she says, "That would be interesting. I'd like to see that."
"Interesting."
Okay.
Meanwhile,
With
Basket's
that-
making Seymour shit himself in the corner.
With
and
that-
I'm trying, and Euphrasia's trying not to laugh. With that,
The day will pass. If there's anything else we want to cover in that day, we can pick it up next time. But it will come tonight, and you will get your long rest.
yay!
Lauren,
Fuck.
as
Hi.
you're sleeping, you
Uh-huh.
hear something. Kind of flutters your eyes open. A call. Whispers in the night. Kind of blink awake. On the table in front of you, you see a dagger. Black as sin. The blade itself made of pure obsidian. You want the power. Are you willing to do what you must to take it? You feel yourself being drawn towards it. Without even really thinking, you realize that you've gotten to your feet. You've walked over towards it. You're standing over this dagger. Do you want it? It's yours. Just reach out. Take it.
Reach out and touch faith.
Can
And
I
pay your price.
while I'm reaching to grab it, can I roll investigation on it?
Absolutely.
Vibe check the object.
With a 4, that's still an 18.
18.
Hell yeah.
As your hand approaches it, you can feel the power radiating off of this. You want it. You felt this power before when you made your pact originally, and you can feel, you can feel the power. It calls to you. You want to grab it. You want to wield it. This is what you've been looking for.
I pick it up.
You pick it up. You turn it over in your hands. Oh, as soon as your hand grasps it, you can just feel electricity. Just
there you go, buddy.
I'm an electrical engineer. I can't say electricity. Shooting through your veins. You can feel your heart stop and then start to beat faster. You accept this dark gift, then? I need to hear you say it. Do you accept?
He's looking at the dagger and thinking back on all of the things that he wants to do and realizes that he is not currently capable of achieving his goal at large. He just says, I accept the deal to be made. No matter the cost, I must achieve my goal.
The deal is struck. As you look at this dagger, it's beautiful. And you feel this lust for power. You have to have this. You turn it over in your hand. It's so beautiful. You're staring at it, bringing it closer and closer. The last thing you ever see is the beauty of this dagger as you use it to gouge out both of your eyes.
Yep.
Oh, that's not it.
And that's where
Nice.
we're going to leave it tonight. And I will let you know what, there's a couple changes that are going to be coming to how you roll some things and how you interact with some other things.
Sounds good.
Now I need to change a meme I just made that I was going to send to Psychic. 1 second.
I will say there is still a way that you'll be able to do spells and things that have visual components and things like that, but this will affect certain aspects of your character's appearance, RP, and perception and investigation rolls for sure.
No, really? What? Who?
So,
Oh boy.
That's where we're going to end tonight.
Whatever conversation we're going to have when you wake up ought to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I turned from a warlock into Kenshi from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk, Psychic. I sent him a message. I was like, do you care if I just spring something random on you? And he's like, go for it. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and
literally, you're like, do you mind if I spray it on you? And then I have a stroke trying to say absolutely.
Yeah.
I got this idea. I was reading like a horror movie, and I'm like, I love that. That's so dark and gruesome. I'm gonna do it. I was reading a book. Anyway, we'll talk. This won't actually like cripple your character. Don't worry about that. It's not gonna make half your spells
I'm sure I'll find a way around it.
But it will be interesting to see how you RP some of the other things going in. With that, though, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for playing. This was a nice RP-heavy episode, which I think we needed after so much combat, right? I mean, we've been fighting that thing for forever. But we've gotten some big information. We know some things we didn't know before, and we now have a direction to head and see what we're going to go. Seems like Mysidia on your side, and you've not quite been able to get rid of it in Nora just yet, unfortunately.
We're about to go north, which is my favorite cardinal direction to head. And if you know that reference, then
actually,
you are my best friend.
This is going to be the YouTube question.
What's your favorite direction?
I'd like to play a game. So the game is there are in this episode very specifically so many references to popular media. A lot of musical references, guys. Had a hard time not singing every single one of them. So the
We
game
do that here.
is find your favorite reference, find a reference, and let us know what that reference is. What you think it was.
And also your favorite cardinal direction to head.
And also your favorite cardinal. But so my favorite, for instance, is Enora reminds me, her backstory reminds me very heavily of the Dresden Files, Harry Dresden.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
That was a coincidence because I've not involved myself with that media. So
Yeah. We've talked
you
about
get-
that before.
If you get my reference about North specifically, you will immediately become part of you will immediately gain 10,000 Epsilon awesome points, and I will be very happy.
those are
very,
worth some good stuff.
special.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can trade those
So
in for
rare.
some-
I've been trying to find them for years.
yeah.
Dude, you've accumulated quite a few awesome points, and you don't even know it.
I know, but I keep asking you for them, and you keep saying, "Oh, they'll come at some point." And like, I don't know if I'm not.
Well,
Soon.
7 to
PM.
10 business days.
It's in the
Yeah.
mail.
Yeah, they're in the
Oh,
post. I sent them by
okay,
first
so-
class mail.
Hold on. So I see the problem. I don't have my address right on the website. Okay.
God damn it! Did you like not put a space somewhere where you were supposed to?
No, I just put like the gates of hell for some reason. I don't know. Anyways.
Weird.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's not a deliverable address, buddy.
That's how he
That's gonna
feels
get
when he
bounced
shows
back
up.
to me.
To the game. He's like, the gates of hell again. All right,
Anyways,
everybody.
I just sent the meme to you, sidekick.
Thank you all for playing. Remember, if you'd like, we have a Discord you can join. Keep the conversation going. We also have a Patreon. You can join for free if you want to. We do have post shows that we put up there, as well as some additional bonus content, and a lot of other shows. Check out Omega Ohms, Walking Dead. I'm a player on that. Nobody else on this one though, I guess. But and then we've got
You
Golden
can
Vault.
also check out.
Oh, go ahead. Oh yeah, you're on some other shows too. On
You can
Omega's channel.
also check out Omega Om TV's Alien RPG. I've been in that, and also the Electric State. I'm also in that. I play a little robot girl.
Nice. I haven't looked into
Love it.
that one. But yeah, I mean, some great stuff going on over there. And then here we've got closing up Heist 3 the next couple weeks of Golden Vault. So we'll be having a player and character switch up pretty soon. And then Temptations is this week, right? Temptations?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Temptations
So
this week.
Ooh,
that's our kind of darker D&D game. It's been really
We
good.
just started a new arc, so a new chapter. So it's
It's
great
the perfect time to
get
jump in.
started.
Really is.
hell
So,
yeah! Now we got business.
All I'm saying is that I'm disappointed I haven't been offered a guest spot yet.
we did try to get you on Golden Vault, but it just hasn't worked out yet.
Because my job hates me, yes.
Yeah, well, there's that.
My Golden Vault.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm gonna
So-
be in and out in Golden Vault because Electric State, but
Yeah,
I think
well,
I have some ideas.
I was talking with Ravnock. We were kind of spitballing something. We'll figure that out. Anyway, though, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's important. And then, yeah, we will see you all next week for more Kupo Quest. So, thank you for watching. Have a great night, everybody.
Just hands out.
Bye.
Bye.